Hey everyone, so if you can't already tell, I tried a different eyeshadow look today. Not different in terms of technique, it's still the same easy approach that I always use to eyeshadow, but it's different in terms of colour, and the basis of it was MAC's Steamy, which is this gorgeous sea green. And I say sea green because it's just a mix of blue and green and it reminds me of mermaids and I love it, and I've had it for years. And I use this with a mixture of other eyeshadows from Superdrug and Bourjois, and just a little bit of matte carbon as well because I can never be without that, and just created something really easy. So I hope you enjoy the tutorial. Nothing groundbreaking, I should let you know now, but I hope you enjoy it nevertheless. So once you've primed your eyes, just take your lid colour, so the colour that you're going to use primarily is a wash all over your lid, and for this I'm using MAC's Steamy, which I love. Of all the coloured shadows that I've got, this is probably one of my favourites because it's such a nice mix of green and blue. And I'm just taking a fluffy brush like the MAC 224 and I'm just going to basically apply it as a wash all over the lid, but leaving a slight gap for the inner corner. So just washing it over the eye. I like using the 224 because it provides quite a light wash. If you really want to pack on colour then you can just use any flat brush, but you know me and colour. Then we're going to take our super cheap Superdrug palette. This is by Beauty UK and it's the number 2 palette, and the colour that I love the most in this palette is this gorgeous aqua blue. And it's very bright, it's very pigmented, and it's going to be our inner corner colour. So I'm going to take a small brush like the MAC 228, and I like this brush because you can be really precise with it, especially for inner corner. I'm going to apply a lot of product on the brush, tap it a bit because these cheaper shadows tend to drop a lot more. That's a lie actually, because this happens with my NARS shadows as well, so ignore that. And I'm just going to press it into the inner corner and then around and to the lower lash line as well. Pressing and then just drawing it down a little bit. Pigmentation is quite impressive on this. And see the sections that I've sort of drawn down onto my lower lash line. I'm going to take my little finger and I'm going to just drag the shadow on very lightly so that the shadow basically comes towards the middle of my eye. So you don't need a brush to do that, but you can't have long nails. So now it's time for the outer corner, and for that I'm going to mix 2 shades. I'm going to mix Bourjois number 7, Noir Emerald, which is basically a gorgeous dark forest green, and I'm going to mix it with MAC's Carbon, which is just a black. So I'm getting a little bit of a matte colour in there, so that it's not so shimmery, although it is very shimmery. So, as we do with our outer corner, I'm just going to basically draw a line and work it through, really hardly touching my eye, just smoking it out a little bit. And then I kind of rest the brush on my brow bone almost and draw it along that bone. And hopefully you can see a slight difference in intensity. If you don't have the Bourjois colour, you can use the Beauty UK palette, but you just use that colour there, which is a dark green, and that would work quite well as a substitute. And I'm just going to draw it slightly under the eye, just with the residue of what's left on the brush. So to blend the outer lines into my brow, I'm going to use Bourjois again, but this is a different colour. This is called Amber Nude, it's number 16, and it's just this really pretty peach apricot colour. It's got a bit of shimmer in it, but it's not as stark as a white highlighter, so it's a little bit softer and blends more and complements more the green tones in the shadow. So I'm just going to sweep it from the outer and then working in. Okay. Now I'm not using eyeliner on my upper lash line, but I'm going to use a little bit on my waterline with the Stila Kajal, which is not my favourite, but I'm just grabbing it, and a little bit on the outer corner. So, waterline, and then I'm just going to pull it out in tiny little strokes. Like that. And then for mascara I'm using Maybelline Lash Stiletto, which I like a lot. And I'm just going to apply one coat. I'm not applying one coat for any specific reason. It's really just because I don't have time to apply more than that. And for those of you wondering, I've just run out of Lilash. So we'll see how the lashes fare. But also my mum tried the new enormous lash formulation and it didn't do a thing for her lashes. So I can't say I recommend that one. So I'm going to keep the cheeks quite neutral, quite subtle, because there's a lot going on here. And I'm going to use Natural Collections Sun Tint Bronzing Powder in Sunshine. And I already had this in my collection and I really like it. It's this gorgeous sort of yellowy, pinky bronzing colour, but it's very easy to wear, particularly on the cheeks. It's got a tiny bit of sparkle in it, but not too much. So I'm just adding contour and warmth, and I'll just add a little bit here. Thank God it's not too sparkly because I'm putting it everywhere. Like that. I've got one of the L'Oreal products. I'm not quite sure what these are called, but this is number 104 and it's Pretty Peach, and they're basically like colour juice sticks. But this colour is quite warm, quite glossy. But these are really pigmented and very soft, very moisturising, and they have that L'Oreal smell, which I quite like. So I told you that that wouldn't take too long, and I was right. Really easy, just using colour, but same technique that we see in a lot of tutorials, in that you place the lighter, the medium and the darker shades in that order on your eye. But there's no hard and fast rule with regards to that. It all depends on what effect you're looking to create. I want my eyes to appear elongated from a width point of view, so that's why I prefer to place the shadow in that order, but you might want to do it differently. Hope you enjoyed that, everyone. Thank you very much for watching as always, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.